What up, everyone? My name is Olmeca, coming all the way from Los Angeles here now in London.
Okay, Olmeca, I'd like to ask you first about how you got involved with the rap side of what you partake in.
Yeah, the way I got involved with hip hop or with music in general was just my folks. My dad was a musician, so I was always around music. But hip hop to me was a survival mode. It was a survival tactic, I should say, because I was staying in North Carolina, which at the time I was the only Mexican in the high school, and so I couldn't hang out with the white folks because there was obviously the racist part of it, and with black folks there was a connection there, but they kind of wanted to speak more about my experiences in the States, particularly in LA. So in order for me to do that, there was a group of people who were mad cool and chill, and all they did was just freestyle all the time. So if I was going to be cool and I was going to be in with the folks, then I needed to also get into it. So really it was that or fighting. So I had to get into rhyming at an early age, at 16, start ciphering, freestyling, and that's how I started with hip hop.
And when you started with your ciphers and freestyling, what was the general topics that you decided to freestyle about or rap about?
Well, for them, for example, they were really interested in knowing what the gang life was like, or what was it like to be, in the hood. Given that they were from North Carolina, obviously they have a certain vision or picture, and this is 1996, so you don't have YouTube, you know what I mean? So all they knew was Ice Cube and things like that. So what I decided to do was tell them about my life, my story, our people, black and brown, and do it that way, man. So that's what I would freestyle about. You know what I'm saying? I would give them little clips, basically, of stories and shit like that from the States. Sometimes I would cheat. I'll be honest with you. I'll cheat because they didn't know about Mac 10 that much. So I would copy Mac 10's lyrics at 16 years old, and then I would spit those, and then they'll be like, "Oh shit," whatever. Just give me a little bit more credit with them folks. And anyway, that's what it was, man. Just the everyday living. You know what I'm saying? Everyday living.
And as you developed as an artist from the age of 16 upwards, what would you say some of the biggest changes you've taken in when performing your music or writing your lyrics down?
I think for all people of color in the United States, we always face this thing called repression, discrimination in one form or another. So I think we always have the two options. One is to either go with the flow and try to be as American as possible, or two, resist it. And so I opted for number two. So whether I wanted it to be or not, whether you have a political identity, quote unquote, we don't develop, as people of color, we don't develop a political identity. We're born into it. We're grown into it. From my mother's womb, we become politicized. You feel me? So circumstance. Every time a person of color that is poor, that comes from the hood, that speaks on reality, let's say they're anti-political, but they speak on reality, they're talking about social, political, and economic issues. And so I fell into it. You see what I'm saying? I was born into it, I fell into it, whichever way you want to say it. And all I had to do at that point was just basically read and experience more, have my eyes more open to be able to intake more information and be able to dish it out. You feel me? So I would say a political development for sure. You see what I'm saying? In order for me to fully understand what my situation was like in the States and my families.
Throughout your music, has there been any major influences from other genres of music, bar the hip hop, that you take on and put in through your music, and why those in particular?
As having a binational experience to me, in other words, being born and raised in Los Angeles, but then also having parents that are Mexican and living in Mexico for a while, you get two worlds. You feel me? So on one hand, I'm listening to Nas and KRS-One and the Far Side and Freestyle Fellowship, and on the other, I'm listening to corridos, cumbia, salsa, merengue, everything you can think of that is from Latin America. So you fuse the things together. You know what I'm saying? You fuse the music together. My influence is music, because obviously people in the States don't just listen to hip hop. Those are my influences, but you listen to jazz, you know, Duke Ellington, obviously Miles Davis, you know, Kurt Elling, Nina Simone is one of my favorite singers. But then on the other hand, Spanish-speaking culture, right? We have Mercedes Sosa, you know, you have Celso Piña, who's one of the greatest cumbiamberos from Mexico. All that music influences me. So from me, you're never gonna hear, you'll hear like some straight up hip hop, boom bap, you know, 90s golden era. But the next song, you're gonna listen to other music that has influences from this other culture. You feel me? Because in essence, that's what hip hop is, man. Hip hop started with samples, and I don't know what the hell people were thinking, man, but hip hop didn't just start with black folks in New York. It started with black and brown folks in New York. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't just spinning, you know, breaks from funk. They were also spinning other types of music. You feel me? Like people who were dancing, breakdancing, that were Puerto Ricanos or Dominicanos. They also had their culture and their ancestry while they were dancing, in the same way that some of the folks who were African American really had a lot of that African influence, Jamaican influence. You see, so hip hop has always been that, and to me, now we're like a new generation of that hip hop now. It's a different sound, but it's all the same spirit.
Okay, and for some people that are watching this for the first time and may not have heard your music, what would you say?
What are you thinking?
What would you say your general topics that you touch on within your music?
Yeah, so you know, I'm tagged as a political hip hop artist, a revolutionary hip hop artist, as a Chicano hip hop artist, a Latino rapper. You know, say all kinds. To me, I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a vocalist. You know, I vocalize my experiences and the things that I go through on a daily. I also vocalize, you know, my people's struggles. And when I talk about my peoples, I'm not just talking about Mexicanos or Chicanos. I'm talking about all oppressed people. The music isn't just about resistance, though. The music is made to provoke critical thought. You know, music is, like Fela Kuti said once. You know, the goal of a revolutionary artist is to make the revolution irresistible. At least I heard it from him. You know, and so for me, music touches the heart, the spirit, the soul. This is beyond politics, you know. Music is about changing people and changing people's lives for the better. So my music is also going to celebrate life, you know. My music is also going to touch on the beautiful things in life, you know what I'm saying? Celebrate the beauty that we have, the beautiful things that we are trying to hold on to when we resist, right? In other words, we resist because we're trying to attain or maintain something that is beautiful, that we don't want it to be tainted. And so we want to be able to honor that, and we want to be able to celebrate that as well, and remind ourselves the beautiful things that we struggle for. So we talk about revolutionary struggle, but we also talk about the beautiful things that we want to preserve in life.
I suppose for people that have watched this interview and are more interested to find out about your music, where can they go to listen to your music?
You know, nowadays everyone's on Facebook and shit, right? So you can go to facebook.com/Olmeca Los Angeles is one that you can connect. My official website is Olmeca1. The one is spelled out, Olmeca.com. That's probably the site that's gonna give you more information about the music in general. And you could always holler at me in terms of if you want to connect or whatever, you're trying to find some info. That's the easiest way. So Olmeca Los Angeles if you're on Facebook. If you want to go to the website, Olmeca1 spelled out.com.
Okay, thank you very much for this interview with IAmHipHop.
Yeah.